Hello everybody, I am Brian with ZimCo Survival, and today I have something that I did a review on a long time ago, and that is the Stanley 10-piece Adventure cooking kit. Now, this is my 1-year update. I have owned this now for a little over a year. I have cooked on this thing probably at least 100 times, and no, I'm not exaggerating. I'm a huge fan of cooking outside, and I do it whenever I can. And since it's just me and my wife, and this is a 2-person cooking kit, and I enjoy cooking in it so much, I have a tendency to just kind of grab this and instead of any of our cast iron or anything like that. So I have put this through its paces. I have cooked with this thing directly on the coals. I have cooked with this thing over a grill. I have cooked with it over a packed wood stove. I have cooked with it with an alcohol stove and a solid fuel stove. I have literally heated this up with whatever fuel source you can list. I've used with this. I have abused this thing a lot because it is so cheap. I think you can buy them for $24.99 now. This is not the kind of pot that I'm going to baby, which is something I really like about it. When you deal with something like titanium, where the pot alone costs you almost 50 bucks, you have a tendency to baby it. And when I'm out in the woods, or I'm out camping or hiking or doing whatever it is that I do, I don't want to have to be worried about how I pack up my pack and how I do stuff like this, because I don't want to crush my cookware. And this is an extremely durable, very hard to break piece of cookware. So I have a tendency to use this over anything else due to that fact. I've even sat on this when the ground is really wet to avoid getting wet. So, I mean, I've done pretty much everything you can do to this thing. I even dropped it. I mean, I've abused it quite a bit, much more than cookware should be. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there's your evidence. I mean, I've used this thing a lot. And I don't particularly care if it gets soot on it, as you can tell. I know there are a lot of people who really care about that. Personally, I don't. The bag that that I put everything into never really had a problem with soot getting onto my stuff, so I don't worry about it too much. And spending a whole bunch of time scrubbing off cookware when you're out in the woods to keep it nice and pretty kind of defeats the purpose of camping, in my opinion. You're out there to have fun and kind of be out in nature and enjoy the outdoors, so why am I going to spend an hour scrubbing soot off the side of my pot when I could be doing something more interesting and entertaining like fishing? So that's my opinion on the matter. As you can see, I have not cleaned it since the last time I used it. Like I said, I very rarely clean it, but I have put so much abuse and so much use on this piece of cookware that I can honestly say, and be completely honest with you guys, I have not managed to break it, and that is impressive. Every piece of cookware I've owned that is a piece of camping cookware has always ended up getting dented, or the lid has gotten warped, or the handle has popped off the side, or something. There's always been something that's broken and I've had to replace it. So finally I got tired of doing that, and I went ahead and bought this, figuring it was a really cheap piece of cookware that I wouldn't mind tossing in the trash if I broke it. And just like Stanley, to hold up to their reputation, I have not managed to break it. And I paid half as much as the last pot I had, which was titanium $50 pot. And it dented up really quickly. And those of you guys who know titanium know that is a real problem. This is all stainless steel. This is 818. Basically, it's the rust-free stainless steel. And I can honestly say that this is not rusted at all on the inside, even with water being left in it over the course of several days. When I forgot it outside in the rain, came back, the pot was full, no rust whatsoever. I really like this piece of cookware. Now, those of you guys who haven't seen my original video on this, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a really quick review. Basically, this is a 1.5 liter pot. It has a fold over handle with a locking bar right here. So basically, if you want to open it up, you pop that open, the lid falls off, and you slide this down. At that point, you cannot fold the handle back up. Now the one thing that I have noticed over the year of using this as much as I have is the handle has loosened up a little bit. That is not because of the bracket. Let me show you here. The bracket is really well, it's basically riveted on. It's really nicely done. It's not tack welded like a lot of them where they'll eventually pop off. This one is actually physically welded to the, or physically riveted to the pot. Let me see if I can get a good view on it there. There you go. This piece has not loosened up on me. It's still firm. It is no movement whatsoever in the actual connection point right here. What has loosened up on me is this piece, the actual handle itself. It doesn't bother me too much because it still doesn't fold up unless I want it to. So for me, it's not a big deal. So let me move on to the inside. This is the 10-piece cooking kit. So what you're gonna get in here is the internals, the guts if you will. It comes with 2 small plates slash cutting boards. I have used them as plates. Personally, you know, it's just a little one-handed thing to keep you from holding your food in your hand. Good for a hot dog or something like that. Not a beefy plate, but it does work. So I've used it as a plate a few times, so I know it works. And for small camping type meals, it works out pretty well. So if you flip it inside out, you have your plate. Flip it this way, and you have a cutting board. This is a 2-person cooking kit, so you have 2 of everything. 2 plates slash cutting boards. You have your cooking utensils, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. And then you have your 2 bowls. These bowls are really, really good. I don't know if you guys can see down in there very well, but you can see all the scratches and nicks and stuff. They are not insulated, although the type of plastic they make these out of is very, very durable. I do not feel like I'm going to cut into this plastic any more than just a minor surface scratch, even with a sharp knife. I've used sharp knives in here before, and as you can see, it looks no different than a dinner plate. You know how you get the little scratches on the plates? That's pretty much what the inside of this looks like. Not a big deal for me. The one thing that I like about the way Stanley designed this stuff is how intuitive it is. Let me give you guys an example. When you pack this stuff up, this little piece here, this little indent, is important. It actually serves a purpose. You line the 2 up when you put the bowls away, then this sits in there like that. And then the 2 lids fit on top with their indent. And that allows everything to pack down nice and evenly into the pot. But the other thing it does, let's say you're not quite done eating, you still have some food left, but you just want to keep it out of the way of the bugs because you decided you go swimming. You just put the lid on, everything lines up really well, and you can have your fork poking out there, your spoon, or whatever utensil you happen to be eating with. And that way you get a nice tight seal all the way around the lid and your little hole for your utensil. So everything serves a dual purpose in this cooking kit, which is really cool for me. Because it means that there's no wasted space, there's no wasted items or anything like that. Now the only problem that I've had with this kit is with the cookware that it comes with. It's good cookware. I haven't really had it melt on me too much. I did have one that did have a little bit of a melt mark, but that was my fault because I had the heat in the pot way, way high because I was boiling up a stew, and when I went to mix it, I used the spatula and held it against the bottom of the pan or the pot for way too long, and that ended up causing a little bit of a burn along the bottom edge of the spatula. Still completely usable, just kind of ruined the aesthetics a little bit, if that makes sense. So that was my fault. That wasn't a problem with the equipment. My problem with it is with its size. Let me give you an example. This is the size of a full-size kitchen spatula. As you can see, it's not particularly small. Not a great camping spatula. And let me show you how it fits into the pot here. Okay? As you can see, it is a pretty large spatula for a pot this size. It's quite big. So I did end up replacing it with a different spatula I purchased that I'm going to go ahead and do a review for you guys on. That is quite a bit smaller than this, and in my opinion, more usable in a camping type pot. So if you guys at Stanley are watching this, take a look at just thinning this down a little bit, you know, cutting maybe a ½ inch off each side of the spatula to make it more usable in a pot that's this small. The next size issue that I had, because both of them are quite large, this is about the size of a real kitchen ladle. Again, a bit big to be useful in a pot this small. That's my only real problem with it. Other than that, everything in this kit is very, very good. No complaints. Just wish these tools were a little bit smaller. But there you have it. That's my opinion on that. As far as the kit itself goes, you can no longer find this particular cooking kit on Amazon. It was $24.99 on Amazon. I can't find it anymore. They updated it with a new version, which I'll go ahead and put a link for in the description. It's basically their new version is the same thing: two bowls, 2 plates, and a cutting board with the pot and the lid. The difference is they added a second pot. So it's a 2 pots, 2 lids, 2 bowls, and the utensils and everything else. So it makes it a little bit heavier. Now, the one thing that I wanted to let you guys know, this is not a light pot with everything inside of it. Now, I typically, like I said, I take out the cooking utensils, but even then it's still a heavy pot. It still weighs 2 pounds. The new version with 2 pots weighs in at 2.6 pounds, 2.8, 2.6, somewhere in there. It weighs about 4 or 5 ounces more than this one does. Now, is that going to be a deal breaker for me? No, I'm actually going to buy it. After using this for as long as I have, I'm going to go ahead and buy it, and I will use this as kind of my around the house type pot for just general trying to destroy it purposes. But I have used this thing so much, and it has held up so well. No denting, no damage. After what I put it through, it should be should be broken, but it's not. And that makes me so happy that I don't care about the weight. I was concerned about the weight when I first bought it and started using it, but after doing that for a while, I started to notice that the pot's quality, I was happy to bring it along with me. Compared to what my friends were bringing, this thing was miles ahead of what they had. And so it didn't bother me that much to have the weight. And now, after a full year of using it, I can honestly say I would rather have this on me than some little aluminum or titanium pot. Simply because I know that when I pull this out of my pack, it is going to be usable. I'm not going to pull it out of my pack and find a big crushed in dent on the side and be like, what the hell? No, I know when this comes out of my pack, it's going to look exactly the same as when I put it in. And that kind of peace of mind is what I like about this product. The fact that I can do whatever I want to do with it, and I know that it's going to work when I need it to work. So I will be buying the 2-pot new version that they made, simply because having a second, slightly larger pot, I think the second pot in the new version is 2.2 liters, and the small pot is 1.5, and this one is the 1.5. So this is the small pot in the 2-pot setup. And then they have the 2.2 liter size, which for me is good because I do occasionally find myself cooking for more than me and my wife. I end up finding myself cooking for 3 or 4 people when I'm out in the woods. So having a 2.2 liter pot will make that process a lot easier without worrying about spilling this stuff, boiling out through the sides, trying to fill it all the way up to the edge. The other part that I want to talk to you guys about is the lid. As you can see, it is not warped. Not at all. And the plastic piece here that a lot of people complain about, oh, it's plastic, it's going to burn. No damage at all. I have put this thing straight in the fire where the flames were coming up over the top of the pot. And that little plastic piece is still just as straight as the day I bought it. Personally, I don't care if it's plastic. After what I've put it through and the kind of heat that I've used on this thing, I'm not concerned about the plastic piece. And you know what? If it does break, I'll find a paper clip and replace it with that. It's not a big deal to me. I'm not going to discard this entire pot over one little plastic piece on the top. And one thing that I did want to show you guys that I didn't before, if you guys want to get an idea of the kind of quality the kind of quality that Stanley puts in their products, they might have put this little plastic piece there, but they actually have a stainless steel post instead of a plastic post there. So even though this is plastic, they actually have a metal pin that acts as the hinge. So that's my opinion on it. Really, really good piece of equipment. After using it for a year, I'm going to go out and buy their newer version. It might weigh a half a pound more, or 4 ounces, so a quarter of a pound more than this current version. But it is well worth the extra weight. And knowing that I have 2 large pots, well, a medium size and a large pot for cooking for a larger group of people, it's always a benefit. So in my opinion, I'm going to pick up the new one. I recommend that you guys pick up the new one too. Like I said, you cannot find this on Amazon anymore, but you can find it at Walmart. I checked just before I made this video because I wanted to make sure that you guys could still buy it. Otherwise, there's no point in me doing an update video on it. And you can buy it. You can buy it at Walmart, and you can buy it at local sporting goods stores. They still carry it at Sportsman's Warehouse, which is the place that I have near me, and they still carry it at Cabela's. So if you are looking for this and you don't want the 2-pot kit, then go ahead and pick this up at Walmart or Cabela's or Sportsman's Warehouse or whoever you happen to have near you. It still costs the same. It'll cost you $24.99 at those stores too. So really there's no reason not to buy it. Like I said, a lot of the ultralighters will complain about how heavy this pot is, and it's not light. Like I said, it's 2.2 pounds. 2 pounds if you take out all of this stuff and pack your own that's lighter, it's still 2 pounds, but the quality makes it so worth it in my opinion to be able to actually pack everything and know that your pot is still going to be usable when you pull it out. Because it really pisses me off when I pull a pot out of my pack and it's crushed. And I know that I packed it well so that it wouldn't crush, and the thing still manages to get dented and crushed. That really annoys me because now I don't have a pot to cook in, and I'm sitting there asking my friends if I can use theirs. And that annoys me. So, in my opinion, this solves that problem really well. So I'm very happy with it. Sorry if this was a little bit rambly, but this is a product that I really can stand behind, and I have absolutely no problem recommending to you guys. No concerns whatsoever about its quality. So if you guys are looking for a pot and you're not quite as you're looking for more of a durable cooking pot than a light pot, this is definitely the option you want to go for. Or if you do know that you're going to be cooking for at least 2 people, possibly more, go ahead and pick up their 2-pot kit. It'll end up running you about $40 on Amazon. So there you go. You have 2 options when it comes to this, and options are always good. But that's the review. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Have a nice night. Bye bye.